Good morning and welcome into the space. So much to process and think about. Transition was the theme in the last video. I haven't listened back through it, but I've made it public and made it private, public, private, public, private, public, private. I haven't watched it through again. I might do that after this and then make it viewable, but we'll see. I need your help with something, like fusing things together. However that looks. So feedback, or I've got lots of questions just about things kind of in general. So maybe we'll talk about bridging some gaps here in this space this morning. Looking for clarity and stuff. I don't know if any of it really matters. Like, what do people come here for? Assurance, confirmation bias, insights, where are we going, where do we want to go, what are the things that we want to do. Just kind of sitting and existing in this space. I know. Let's start with one word. I'll pull it out of like my little tiny mini deck. If you pop on and have questions, feel free to ask. They're so simple to start with. So let's go there. 10 cups, because people are looking for emotional fulfillment. 10 cups, 6. Am I gonna pull 3 out of here? I suppose. We'll see what the 3 words are behind it. And I have this little tiny mini deck. I'm pulling seeds out of the darkness. Again, if you pop on and have questions, you can ask. You can put them in the comment feeds, and we'll go from there. Okay, we'll look at these 3 to kind of start us. We've got one of these, one of these, and one of these. And I'm putting these pieces together and trying to bridge these gaps together. Filling in holes and filling in spaces. But again, if you pop on and have questions, you can ask. What are we looking at here first? 10. Looking at the bright future. Looking forward to the bright future. Looking at things forward watching. And we're talking about bridging gaps or connecting different pieces. So how do we put these elements between the past and the future together to create a present, right? Are we creating some sort of present, something that we can unwrap here? But people want to look forward to a bright future for hope. I don't know. So let's see. Something's blocking you. It's something of the heart. Heart matters. This one's 6. It's the Lover's card. Interesting how it's represented in the deck here. But these are about joining and separating and putting these pieces together, looking forward. And so like what needs to be brought together, what needs to be separated to get to the future. I don't know. And then here we just sit. It's like there's a I don't call it a difference, but like something between action and manifestation, or something between active and passive, or like time waiting to get things forward. maturity, the search for serenity and security, looking for security, wanting to bring these aspects together. I mean, if there's anything that's resonating there specifically within myself, right? It's looking for security and safety and wanting to bridge these gaps. There's something about communication there as well. Conflict within communication, or not being able to communicate things in such a way. Conflict within communication, within like bringing these elements together, or so I feel trying to get to the next step or get to the next phase in life, and wanting to communicate something about the gap and something about the bridge or something, and then there's just like a block or a conflict or some sort of issue that comes into play where I think a lot of it's the inner voice and the inner resolve, maybe. Because on the one hand, there's the confidence and the motivation, and then on the other hand, there is the, I don't want to call it quite the naysayers, but the belittling, and like the belittling that comes through in people, with people who are trying to be supportive or who are saying that they're wanting to be supportive, but they're not. And I feel like that's what chokes me up a lot. Was just getting caught up in, I guess maybe like the shock, like when the veil comes off, or when the truth is exposed, or like when secrets come out, or like when the realization comes to play of like the, shit, well then what kind of a feeling. Rest before action. I don't know, there's a lot. Ask me a question. Synthesizing things and putting things together and putting all these different elements together, because of the conflict. This is the second time this guy has shown up too, as far as swords, King of Swords. He's the first one I opened up to when I grabbed this one here. It's like determination and unfairness, or something is unfair, and what do you do if something is unfair? What do you try to bring these together? I don't know. What do you want? It's like taking chances and taking risks. I'm gonna go into new chapters. Let me conjure one first. I'll pull one out of here. I have this like overwhelming urge to just like scrap everything and start over, and I do that a lot. Start over, or just start from nothing and build up. And I feel like there's a lot of initiatives or things that have started, but nothing that's necessarily come into fruition, because you get bored. Let's look at this guy. Rabbit. It's the year of the rabbit, too. And I'm a rabbit. And it's supposed to be like an interesting year, like a year of like luck, or all these things that are, it's like, oh, it'll materialize, it'll manifest, it'll like be a thing, but nothing is changed or nothing is changing in the environment. Much like the rabbit in The Wonderful Tale, this one is a sign for you to keep going. You're on the golden road. The Six of Diamonds also foretells coming money. When paired with the Ten of Hearts, it predicts an early marriage or widowhood, but also warns against a second marriage. Let's just keep going. We're just gonna keep going. None of it's gonna make sense for a while, and that's fine. Just keep trucking through. I think one of my biggest questions, or at least that I'm having this morning, in my transition, in transition between spaces, or just transition between that and then, if we're just going to be broad and vague, is this. There's so much that I can do, and so much that I'm available for. But what do you want from me? What do you need from me? How do you see me? I'm open to feedback. Not necessarily like, I don't know, put it here, I don't care. There's like a hesitation, I guess, because of this part of it, because of the judgment part of it. Judgment and communication, because people want to take the things that we say and then use them as a means to do I want to say bolster themselves? It's that self-confirmation bias again. Something is trying to come into play, or something is trying to come into fruition with all of it, but it's got to be creative. Oh, it's funny, and then I open this one, and then judgment is here too. Judgment, and then judgment, judgment, and people come into this place, whatever, with their judgments. Maybe that's some of the insecurities that I'm feeling at the moment too. It's just from judgments, or people's judgments. Not so much in that, it's this one. It's where people judge something to be bad, dark, evil, scary, that sort of thing, and then they use that as a means to justify harm. Something came from that earlier too, but let's talk a little bit about judgment and what judgment is, because apparently we're bridging gaps between this and that, and having to make judgments, maybe creative judgments about how things move, or where things are moving, or how things are transitioning, I suppose. And interesting, I always have this preface, I suppose, that where there's no judgment at my table, we're not necessarily judging things to be good or to be bad. But maybe we'll do that in this space. We'll invite judgment in as far as the bridging agent and the bridging gap goes. Corpses rise from their tombs as the angel awakens them with a blast of his horn. All beg for redemption as judgment is set forth upon the land. Something too about like just things being exposed, I believe, are coming out. But that's in a lot of the astrology or something that's been happening within the last couple of months. So there's just been this shakeup. Accountability for one's actions, new beginnings, awakening. And then one of the thoughts that I had, or before jumping on here in response to somebody's post that I had saw, anybody's ever like violated or perpetrated me, or has whatever, assaulted me in some form or another, like nobody's ever been held accountable for their actions. And I think that's bothering me. I think that's bothering me a lot, especially in this realm of judgment. Nobody being held accountable for their actions, and therefore all of that blame and all of that responsibility falling onto me. And it's just like, at what point or another do we put our foot down to be like, no, this is what I'm accountable for. This is my truth. These are my actions. And why is that? Because society doesn't support that. Society does a pretty good job of maintaining the status quo, or upholding things that aren't necessarily working. Fearful of death, guilty feelings, worry, delay. If we're in gratitude, we can't feel fear at the same time. It's difficult to be grateful for these horrible experiences that are meant to teach us something, or kind of like in this space of void or transition. There's just aspects of uncertainty that are making you uncomfortable because of these judgments, or how people might perceive you in that space. And people perceiving you in that space gives you a sense of instability as well. Let's look at Judgment. It says in the new chapter, Judgment is 20. It reduces to 2, so there's an aspect of balance. Balancing your judgments. Where are you? Here. Union of the forces of creation and destruction. Judgment is the end of a dying era and the dawn of a new. Age of Aquarius, death and rebirth, blah, blah, blah. Old patterns giving way to new ones that cannot be conceptualized. That's kind of, everything is so fuzzy in this space too, because we don't have concepts yet for this. Did I put the other one back? I must have. Did I leave them in the pile? That's fine. I mean, if we don't have a concept for it, and you're trying to explain something to somebody, then we don't have a concept for, people become worried and afraid that something to do is going to undermine or distort their relationship or aspects to reality. So they want to be gently coerced into a transaction that makes them unaccountable. Ooh, odd. People are playing it soft. But I don't want to say people are playing it safe, because we don't have safe spaces and safe containers. Like, people are being soft and creating spaces that aren't safe, in perpetuating a lack of safety across the board for judgments, for their maintenance of self-confirmation bias. So they don't want to make that shift or make that transition. a massive change has happened and you may not be the same, yet it's an invitation to get to know the new you or your new life. You may feel weak or small after a major transition, but your strength is growing. We'll look at 5 Cups and their strength too. Princess of Cups is there. Maybe we'll look at some of those. Imposter syndrome kind of comes into play here, comes to mind as well. And it's a big shift. It's a big shift. Maybe you're up against people too who have yet to make that transition, and so they're feeling inflated, like big and inflated. And that big ego inflation is creating conflict with that new sense of self, further perpetuating that sense of weakness. The other side of Judgment is you're hiding from change rather than actively participating in it, playing it safe, or ignoring a call to action. Judgment reversed is the stagnation that arises from being too self-satisfied or too self-critical. So, I don't know, things aren't getting anywhere. So if we want to get somewhere with this transition and this movement, then we're going to talk about the emotional flowingness. It's just, I don't know, there's something shocking. Or just, it's a shock to the system. Okay, kind of goes into flow, right? Because we're making this transition, coming across the board. So this is the part of you it's dealing with strife, disillusionment, emotional conflict, must let go of an unfulfilled expectation, even if it's painful for you. The 5 of Cups invites you to see people as they are, not as you hope them to be. Letting go of that idealized vision is painful but necessary. Take a moment to mourn the loss of what could have been, but accept what is. So again, when that veil kind of comes forward and the truth comes forward, it's the radical acceptance of what reality is, and then how we fit into those pieces instead of trying to force or project our modes and our things onto other people. If you pop on, you can ask questions. Let's look a little bit about what strength is, because it's going to take strength to get through a lot of that emotional difficulty. I mean, if we're trying to come up with something we don't have a concept for, trying to create something new, or coming out of this transitionary space into something new, there's just a lot that we have to look at in order to address and move forward. We'll look at this side of the Strength card. Depression, rooted in denying or suppressing your true self, maybe feeling drained or powerless with a lack of self-confidence, can lead to blaming others or lashing out at them in an effort to appease your insecurities. Your sense of self-worth or inner strength is out of balance. So let's look at this side of it, because if we're coming up with a new concept and trying to build something and step out of this, the strength part of it, right, that which is deeply felt and acted upon. To this, I want to add the note as well that one of my coaches, a confidence coach, has given me, despite how I feel, I'm going to do it anyway. And here we are, despite how I feel, I'm showing up here and we're doing this anyway. And going through the discomfort and then the uncomfortable parts of it together, because we can. Strength encourages you to express your uniqueness in the world. Maybe that's where some of this King of Swords comes into play as well. You have to express your uniqueness within the world and something different. And so when we, the sheeple, break out of the conforming mold and we break into ourselves and we try to express our inner authenticity, people don't know how to receive that. So they go into defense and attack mode. Let's keep looking here. It is the inner voice heated. Your angry, lustful, fearful lower self is welcomed into an integrated whole self, along with the higher self of ego and superego. Strength is genuine and honest. By embodying strength, you become an oracle unto yourself. Know thyself, noti sitan. True strength is to wield all the gifts and the challenges that have been bestowed upon you. There's, ironically enough, podcast or video, whatever thing on YouTube called Know Thyself that I've been looking into. I posted something the other day which had something to do about that. And I think in our contemporary culture, right, because of this judgment, we're told we have to be happy and light and bubbly, and things have to come across a certain way, and we have to portray ourselves in a calm, cool, and a collected manner in order to be taken seriously and put things across. Otherwise, if we show any emotion outside of this normal bubble, and we show anything, especially as a woman, that shows our discontent, our discomfort, our anger, right? Any of that, just exuberance, right? That gets us charged and gets us excited. Then that judgment comes along, that external judgment of the environment that goes to say, you can't, no, don't, oh, my favorite, you're crazy. Fucking hate that. These dismissive interactions or these dismissive communications that people have when we step into ourselves, when we step into knowing ourselves. It's quite frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Especially when you want to convey that truth and that authentic self to a person who is wanting to judge you as being something other than that. Right? Frustrated. Very, very frustrated. Because people just want to see what they want to see, or they want to uphold, again, these ideals and expectations that things are a certain way. And so when things expose themselves as they truly are, and it, how do I want to say, it challenges our expectations and makes us question, I don't know, let's look at Princess of Cups and how we pull all those elements together. Because, I don't know, it can be a lonely road. People just want to, like, shoot down your true self by telling you, no, you're this, no, you're that, no, you need to do this, oh, you have to do it this way. Sorry, honey, what works for you doesn't work for me. What works for me probably won't work for you. So what do we do other than provide tools and toolkits so you can figure it out for yourself? You know? Frustrated by not feeling seen, heard, believed, trusted, and not because there's anything that I've done that's wrong. If there's anything I can be accountable for, it's putting myself in vibrational containers that are lower vibrational. We're not putting myself in these containers. No, that's not even true either. I'm spongy and picking up a lot here. Let's just look at this one. Compassion and feeling grounded in the material plane through direct action, nurturing or helping those around you to thrive. The Princess champions creativity and fosters appreciation and support of the arts. She's the embodiment of working towards an ideal world, childlike innocence, unselfish love, and rooting what is felt in what can be achieved right now. So you can have ideals and you can have all these expectations, but just know that this world that we're trying to co-create and we're trying to project is one that's going to take time to materialize. There's still a lot of difficult things to have to work through. So do we talk about 4 discs, I guess, because it's here, that's intriguing me. We're talking a little bit about tools, trying to reach our ascending points or our ascension, or getting past this No, let's not go there. I don't want to take you too far. It's a difficult transition. People aren't going to like you. Some people will love you no matter what. The 4 of discs is double-sided. It is defensive privilege, positions of power upheld by fierce protection against outsiders, against those who generated wealth and status and are prevented from reaping what should be theirs. This card warns of constructing boundaries around what's mine and what's yours. This kind of security comes at the cost of inclusivity, wealth guarded by miserliness and not its own reward. Interesting, because we had mentioned or we had talked about a wall there or a block there. And trying to do something new, right? Because if you're stepping outside of the norm, or if you're releasing the masks and shields and costumes or whatever that you've been portraying in order to fit in or be liked or be accepted, there's just a very much like a, you can't have it, it's mine. Also, stay in your lane comes to mind. 8 wands. That one's similar to this one. Like, where are you putting your energies? Where are those energies being directed to? You can ask questions, you know. That's fine. Swiftness and high-flying energy, optimism and joy, the good kind of busy that feels energizing. You're doing what you're meant to be doing. Act now. Let loose your hours. Take aim towards what you long for and let fly toward the goal. This is the essence of freedom. Action, action, action. Action potentials within the brain are also coming to mind. What is activated as far as neural pathways, because if we're talking about staying in your lane and activating neural pathways, can't break into innovative behavior development unless we generate new neural pathways that we can use to tap into other resources and other aspects of our minds. But there's not a concept for it, so it's probably not going to make sense. And the more you try to think about it or perceive it or try to judge it, to put words and labels on it, I wouldn't say the further away this gets, but the more stagnant it becomes. You just have to do it and trust that whatever comes out of it comes out of it. Not worry so much about how other people are going to judge you. It's not so much about like worried about what other people think as much as how people's judgments can cause them to react in such a way that could be detrimental to you. So having to be very cautious about how you do things moving forward, or there's just kind of this illusion that you have to watch your back. Let's talk about King of Swords. Maybe I'll bring up this one. I kind of like all three of them that are up. 3 Wands, King of Swords, and 9 Discs. I'll talk about 9 Discs, I guess, first, because we're talking a lot about cultivation, and in the last week or so that I've been reigniting this space post-summer. I'm talking about the roots and the planting, harvesting. But it's this one. But 9 is also the completion of a cycle, the ending of a cycle. Your hard work is paid off, gathering riches. 9 of Discs represents returning health and vitality, a personal prosperity. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Treat yourself to this moment of abundance, comfort, and prosperity. Taste the sweetness of the fruits of your labor. You're surrounded by plenty. As far as like being able to do what you need to do with everything that you have, having everything you need to succeed, all the tools and all the things are there. I've been building up a toolkit for what feels like almost 2 decades now. I mean, everything's there. All the parts and pieces are into play. What I just gotta take action and put all the parts and pieces together. But still holding on to and lingering in this space for why. Waiting for the last little duckies to catch up so we can all cross the road together. That's part of it. Let's look at King of Swords. What else did I see earlier? Something along the lines of community, because if you have this grand community in mind and you try to force your community or sense of community on the world outside of you, it doesn't work, or it does it all a disservice or an injustice. But if you can love and love and love and connect peacefully, community is built around you. I guess I was like sitting in this contemplative, hermity, just me space for so long, and feeling very disconnected from community or communities that I used to be part of or feel part of, like in feeling that disconnect. It's not a bad thing, it's a necessary thing, it's a good thing, it's a very protective thing, because those communities don't necessarily have your highest good in mind. They're there to take something. And so how ironic to be so hermetic and to have this mission of cultivating conscious co-creative communities, but existing in a world very autonomously or independently of all of that. Not trying to insert within a community to make changes or alter it, but existing as your true self, showing up, doing the work, and then the community gravitating around that. Person of dispassionate reasoning, of dry facts and intellectual pursuits. For the King of Swords, the scientific method is law. When referring to a person, the king is an expert in their specialized field. The card encourages you to approach the situation via intellectual means. Gather raw data as a thought experiment. What if you looked at the problem objectively, just pros and cons? In the path this morning, I was thinking, getting my son involved in this one with me, of making a pro and con list. Maybe we'll do that. Sit down together. The pros of being here, the cons of being here, the pros of being there, the cons of being there, and kind of weigh out these odds, or kind of come to some sort of visual reckoning. 3 wands. The plan you've made is good and you should implement it. Progress has been made and you're ascending towards an idealized goal, so keep going. This card represents self-determination, the attainment of the goal at the expense of feelings. Expand your efforts and horizons, even if it's scary. Dream bigger. Despite how I feel, I'm going to do it anyway. Despite how other people feel about it, I'm going to do it anyway. Seems like that needs some discernment and some grace. All right. I have this question, like, how is this going to be used against me? And this idea of, well, if it comes out of truth and authenticity and somebody tries to wield it against you, they have nothing to stand on and no ground to stand on. It's just trusting in the knowing and in the inner power. Using the intellectual aspects of it, feeling the feelings, but at the same time, if we can intellectualize the energies that go behind those situations in all of this, if there's logic and understanding, or if there's a lot of thought put into this, right? Then fucking good luck and good riddance to anybody else. This one's coming up again too. It's this one. People taking advantage of you, withholding resources, that sort of thing. Making you jump big, twist, turn in order to get something or fulfill something. I'm very contemplative today. So I have these two very separate worlds. I don't know, maybe identities that they exist in. And it parallels in a lot of different ways, and this theme has showed up in a lot of different ways. So therefore, there's this inherent urge or calling to bridge the gap or find some sort of way to unify the two into a third element, into something that hasn't necessarily been conceived. And it's been such a daunting process. I mean, we're talking 10, 15 years or so, really, in the making of knowing this is part of my purpose and knowing this is part of my purpose, but not being able to exist in this realm or this community because they're like, you're one of those. Like, for example, in the realm of the arts, showing up in the realm of the arts, they're like, you don't belong here because you're an academic. There's no room for healing arts here. You know, people who know how to use APA formatting and, you know, read and write are fucking stupid and don't know how to do shit. To the other side of things, right? Being in the academic bubble, in the academic container, and having people look at me like, oh my gosh, you're an artist and we're in the same cohort together? Like, how are you here while I'm here? You can't be artsy fartsy and show up in a tutu and be in grad school. You can, I did. And so, in this bridging phase, right, I find myself not in either container. Why? I don't know. Good question. I don't really understand either, because it seems like the limitation or whatever is like locked me out or is trying to block me out or trying to prevent me from materializing my visions. It's, let's call it a similar fulcrum. It's almost like there's one agent or something who has who's gatekeeping, or the gatekeepers in your life. I don't know, maybe there's something similar there too, where okay, he was up kind of for the other one too, and here you are again, so we'll use it. 10 swords. 10 swords and Queen of Swords too. Maybe heck, we'll even look at what this one is and then top it off with the other princess as well. Princess of Discs. So kind of go down this little rabbit hole. Welcome to the rabbit hole with me, your rabbit. For all those people who are like, it has to be like this, it has to look like this, you have to do it that way, like no, it doesn't. Not if we're innovating and doing something new. So don't take away my authority to maintain your self-confirmation bias. Understand here in these realms, in this bridging dynamic, that there's a multitude of tools and resources. There's a lot of different knowledge coming together here into one main center to break you out of this ideal and this notion. We're hatching something here. Where are you? 10 swords. A swift and brutal ending. After the turmoil of the 9 of Swords, you have argued yourself into standstill, resulting in mental exhaustion. All sides have been considered and examined ad nauseum. Approaching the problem from an intellectual standpoint has reached its conclusion in the limit of its helpfulness. It's time to make a choice. I heard something else yesterday too in one of the podcasts or something. I was listening to this woman who says that she doesn't use the word decision, because in the etymology of the word decision, or to decide, like homicide or something like that. There's this essence of having to kill off something. So she chooses instead of decides, because in the realm of choice, you don't have to kill anything off, right? If you're going to decide and then kill something, I mean, ask yourself, what liberties are you taking, or what ethical authority have you been given to do that, to make that decision, incision? There might be something more to the etymology of the word, or something for you to look at there as far as your growth capacity. If it resonates, it's not going to with everybody. So there's only so much that you can be intellectual about something and that you can think about something, right? Before you just have to decide and you just have to take action and do something. Maybe that's why this Queen of Swords is here. Keen intelligence informed by emotion and compassion. So there's a holistic aspect of there. And a lot of people aren't acting within the aspects of wholeness, right? They're being very one-sided. Often that love and light and happy positivity and just think happy, right? Like, but they're missing the wholeness to it. I mean, for those of you too who are in that like somber self-defeatist, oh woe poor me, whatever, like that land of pity and deep depression, same thing, it's one-sided. There has to be wholeness within that, some sort of possibility. The Queen prioritizes what can be understood by the mind over what is felt in the heart. This is justice rooted in compassion, a truth or realization that cuts right to the heart. The best advice or clearest truth might sting at first, but will offer clarity about your emotional landscape. I think that's oftentimes why people want to avoid these spaces and these transitions, because they don't want to feel the sting or the pain that comes with truth and unveiling and seeing things as they really are, having to take accountability for things within their life. Let's look at 5 Wands, and I think I might start wrapping this space up. So if you're on here and you have a question, now is your opportunity to ask. Departing a comfortable today for a better tomorrow. The 5 of Wands heralds a sudden and volatile disruption. It's a card of revolution, restlessness, boldness. Complaints kept silent for too long are finally surfacing. The resulting upheaval will lead to renewal and change. Many voices are shouting, but who is listening? There is a call here to make these big changes and great changes, and to do something new and to do something different, and to step inside of this power and to do something bold. But I mean, who's really listening to that? A lot of people walking around going like this, looking for something to scapegoat or somewhere to misdirect, or I don't know, just not taking the opportunities. Let's look at Princess of Discs. It's a dude. Wholeness, masculine, feminine, feminine, masculine. Could represent a generous and loving person, or more abstractly, the ability to manifest your dreams in the material sphere. It's the start of a fruitful journey, the first efforts you put into manifesting your goals. Resources are available for you to use. The way forward is layout, and you're being encouraged to proceed. I mean, if anything, like, do the things that you need to do to make the changes in your life to get you to where you're going or where you want to go. Action. If you need anything in this space, it's motivation, and me too, to just keep going and putting the pieces together, bridging the gaps, I suppose. Starting something new, doing something new. that's it for that deck. Look at the Conjure deck one more time. If you have questions, you can ask. It's like contemplative and waiting. 3 wands. Practical knowledge there, so knowledge, intellectual stuff, it's like mind over matter in such a way. What are you, Knight of Cups? This deck is a trip. I love it. It's so simple and right to the point. Right, we're gonna cut through and get right to the point. And it's like no sugarcoating things, no like dancing around this, trying to whatever, make it easy for people to to chew. It's just like succinct and to the point, but it has to be reciprocal or reciprocated. Reciprocity is important. Chalices, Knight. The seducer, she who faces the perils of the human heart to conquer it. So going through these challenges and these difficult things in order to overcome it and to learn our lessons and to move forward into something else. It's like all emotions versus logic. Emotions versus logic. Like you could feel so far into the emotional stuff before eventually you're going to pop up into logic. And the same thing, you feel so far and dive so far into the logic before eventually you feel something. A temporary detachment for passion. It's all going to reconnect itself. It's all going to come back together. Some things being handed to you, there's just an opportunity that is going to be presented to you. Let's pull one more out of Conjure. If I have a question or something funky comes out of here, we can clarify it in the next deck. But last question, last intention for today. Reach out to me for private readings. 8 hearts. Let's look at what this one is all about. We're almost there. The trillium flower. One of the first heralds of spring in Appalachia, the white trillium flower is much loved by many. To dream of trillium is a sign of flirtation or affair soon to come. Because there are 2 pillars of hearts, it speaks about a union between 2 people, and if shown with the right cards, it can also mean a marriage. Otherwise, this card shows a large number of affairs and flirtation. Let's pull this up, because this is like, but we're speaking about opportunities here. We're speaking about bridging the gaps and bringing these aspects together, right? What is the other side of it? Are you curious? Reversed. If there is no significant other, the card can show a period of time where the milks run dry. The love department. I've seen the card show a couple times when someone's love life is crossed up by the evil eye. If there's a significant partner, the card reversed further proves loyalty to the person. Loyalty. Loyalty to a project, loyalty to whatever this mission is, but like the evil eye, somebody, like again, that like fulcrum or that pinnacle thing or something in there trying to disorient or like dismember or like take away your ability or like just block you. We look at what that block is within this space, okay? We'll look at what that block is and how do we deal with or approach the block. Okay. So let's look to this block in this space. It's a mole, funny enough. Underground, something hidden. Alright. Clubs. The twin of the two of hearts, the mole, deals deeper in business and social life. Here the two of clubs shows a handshake or an agreement and new things coming in the distant future. The other side of it, secrets being kept, disappointments, and opposition to your attempts. The mole has a strong nose, and when it's down, it can also indicate someone or something that is best to be avoided. Right, so we have these deals, business things winning, but at the same time, something is to be avoided. And then, so how do we deal with it? Then we have this 10 of spades. Gravestone. The graveyard is the end of things, especially worries, doubts, and troubles. The card signifies that the worst of a situation is over. However, in some instances, it does foretell a loss, but not an extreme one. Lastly, depending on surrounding cards, it can show witchcraft or evil forces at work. If paired with the Six of Clubs, it's not reverse. It's just more trouble and people plotting against you. Just knowing that there are some people out there who like to employ the use of dark forces or witchcraft or spells, or put out like this weird dark juju and energy around what it is that you're doing. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody out there has an altar with you on it and like doomsday surrounding it. Like somebody trying to put in all of this time and energy into making sure whatever it is doesn't come into fruition. And so that's probably that block that you're feeling in order, or that's preventing you from taking the next step and doing this thing, because again, once you put it out there and once you open it up to the thing, you're going to be susceptible. Heck. We'll look at this one too. We have 4 of these, so I'm going to pull a different one after this. I don't like it, I don't. Like, things are hard enough without people coming along trying to make things harder and more difficult for you. What they do, and some of them will, and in this case, some people have come along to make things a lot more difficult than they need to be. Keep going and do it anyway, despite how I feel. I'm going to do it anyway. Right? 3 crosses. Throughout the southern Appalachian Hills, 3 crosses deck the hillside next to billboards advertising ginseng, car insurance, church messages such as "Hell is real." The folks of Appalachia have long looked to Calvary for their salvation from poverty, pain, and illness. Just like everything was completed on Calvary, the 10 of Clubs shows a completion of plans or events coming to a close. Show good things to come after a long period of hard work and bearing your cross. It's a spiritual pat on the back. This way, when it shows up this way, things are ruined, hard work is swept away, and you have to start over. It's a tiresome ordeal with seemingly no end. You just have to keep on going. Keep on keeping on. Like, good things can come out of it, but it's definitely having to start over again and to start new again. Probably because somebody's caught wind of some of your plans and has done things up to this point to, again, prevent you from achieving them or materializing them, so you're forced to start over. Cause somebody's in here watching and reporting back. Cause somebody's like sneaking up and trying to get real close and get an understanding of your plans so that they can go move that or share that information outside of you with somebody who can come in and attack. So look at 9 spades. Clubs. Minors, pickaxe, reap what you sow. It's a phrase that echoed all throughout the hills, from jail cells to church pews. Its meaning is literal here, much like the black lung epidemic that rages in many folks. That is the harvest they ended up with after many years of mining coal. The coal companies were very prosperous for a while before things turned sour and they abandoned the town and ravaged mountains. Upright, the 9 of clubs shows a good reaping, some good for your efforts. Reverse, things will go south and be bad. Your fruit is rotten. Ah! Ah! It's like things just not working out as planned. Somebody's coming in to sabotage everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's pull 2 more out of here. I'm going to shuffle it a couple of times. I'm going to smudge. We'll pull 2 more. And we'll start wrapping it up. It's like something can only go on for so long until it's called to a halt or until it's got to stop. Let's just keep shuffling. Let's get super specific about the things that are blocking you and preventing these things from coming into fruition. And then North Star, so we can get out of it, because I think we need some more insight into what the heck is going on here. But it's like you know who this person is, or people are, really. There's not a whole lot you can do. I'm going to shuffle 2 more times. It's like shuffle, 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 shuffle. And we'll look at how getting through this transition, despite all the haters, is going to happen. Fine, I'll take it. I didn't want it in the last one and put it back in, and there it is, so we'll take it. She keeps popping up for me today, too. Although that's not the card that I want. I'm going to set it off to the side. Maybe we'll address that before we look at this, because it keeps popping out, so maybe we need something there. Rabbits here again. I'm going to put it off to the side to keep our balance. And then let's look at this vulture. Okay. So the Black Widow, or Black Widows of your life. Okay, those that lurk in the dark corners, waiting to strike, to poison you and bring you down. Arr, dark, 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 dark. I think it's kind of confirming all of this. Okay? An older woman with dark features. She's a cruel mother, a jealous wife, and a bitter widow. This card can also foretell someone's plan to steal or take something from you. Look out for jealous people. Those showed up in, I think, the last reading. I should make it not private again and put it back onto public, because it might resonate. Look out for the cruelness, the jealousy, and the bitterness. And it doesn't have to be literal, like feminine, like female, right? This can be somebody who plays like a nurturing role, or who kind of gives you the false narrative, or a false sense of like, here, come into my web. But we have luck and we have wisdom. We've got all this writing with us. It's just going to be one heck of a journey. So let's look at this guy, since we're in spades. A hollow acorn. Known to some as the devil's bedpost, this card holds only poison, representing accidents, fire, violence, illness. Great attention should be had here. The details may be revealed by the cards in its company. Shown as a hollow acorn, the strength of the oak is gone. In Appalachian folklore, acorns are supposed to protect against lightning strikes. This can also mean your protection is compromised and you should take appropriate precautions. Reverse, the other side of it, the devil's bedpost becomes a safe haven of protection, a shelter of the Most High. So it's like, again, from the beginning of this, like the isolation and the separation, although painful, it's for your protection. For example, upon disconnecting or leaving a group, one specific art group, and walking out of the space. And I remember this so clearly, and it's probably one of the last times I think I really ever even went in there. But I came out for whatever, and this young man comes out. He left kind of after I left or something, but says something kind of ominous. I mean, ominous maybe isn't the right word to use, but something along the lines of, like, it's good that you decided to leave, and it's good that you walked out, because all those people that are in there that you cared for are all fucking talking shit about you, and they're all saying really awful, horrible things, and it's not a space that I want to be a part of. So good thing you left, because I'm leaving too. And it was one of those things of, like, oh, okay, so I am making the right choice and the right decision, and although I want to give the benefit of the doubt to these people, here's this beautiful angel coming into my path to let me know that all those people in there don't have my best interest at heart. That I need to leave, even though I want to be there. Right? And still, like, years and years and years past this, it's like still somebody's trying to come along and prevent my things from coming into fruition, to prevent good things from happening. Like, for whatever reason, somebody out there just wants, like, all the worst, horrible, fucking painful things to happen to me. And they put all this energy and time and whatever into that, into causing me harm, into creating harm for me. And it's just made things so difficult, so freaking hard. Like, I don't understand why this is happening, other than some people are just cruel and jealous and mean. Yeah, they just do. You know, they can't or won't. Okay. So let's look at the turkey vulture, because this is overcoming obstacles. On the reverse side of it, shows more difficulty in attaining victory over obstacles and blockages. It's just difficulty, but it's going to happen. So whatever the heck is blocking you and preventing these things to coming into fruition, whatever, like, they're going to be removed and eliminated from the pathway in due time. You don't have to do anything about it. Showing a time frame of 3 weeks or months, the turkey vulture on the 3 of clubs gives the message that current or future obstacles will be overcome with ease. I mean, you're going to overcome it. You're going to deal with it. You're going to get through it. You got all the luck in order to do it, right? Just know that There are things and there are forces outside of you who don't want you to have those things. And be aware of that and take precautionary measures. Maybe it's like who you share information with or something like that, but it's like somebody caught whiff of your plants through somebody else. Again, just like the moles, like watch out for the people. There's some, I don't know, somebody planted something somewhere. Anything else you want to know? I mean, there's a lot that we can look at there. There's a lot that we can, okay, Wheel of Fortune. It's taking a risk and taking chances and just knowing, doing, being. But if you're scared, it's okay. You'll come out over the top of it. You just have to trust your knowing and start the flowing. Let's do one daily guidance from your angels. We'll kind of take this heaviness in this space and we'll lighten it up. And we'll close it off for the day. Please reach out to me for private readings if you got them. Again, any feedback you may have for me or whatever, I'm open. I just have so many questions, so many questions about so many things. Thinking. Ask. I have questions. Ask us to help you in this situation, and we will immediately go to work on your behalf. We're governed by many universal laws, and among them is the free will that allows you to make your own choices and decisions. So we patiently await your request. What are you keeping? What are you including? What are you cutting out? Ask for the guidance and the support. If anything, go for it. Prayers and positive expectations have been heard and answered. We've been working with you on the situation since Genesis, and we continue to watch over you and everyone involved. Stay on your present path, as it will take you very far indeed to a shower of abundance. Okay, it's time to go. Time to close off this space. See how we feel going into it tomorrow when we've got the holidays coming up as far as like Thanksgiving and whatnot. So I probably won't be here within this space. I have so many questions. So many questions. Just in this deep contemplative space. In the realm of imagination, between dreams and delusions. Into the void. Okay. Into the void of the ethers. This one goes. Okay. Well, thanks for showing in this space. We'll touch base soon. Please reach out to me. I'm here. I'm available. But you just have to, like, be ready. If you're ready, I'm ready. Ready, here we are, waiting. Okay, bye.